Should we support drinking alcohol or warn against it? With this topic of drinking alcohol today, we are going to look at two different worldviews with this matter: Christianity and Islam. What does Christianity have to say about drinking alcohol? Well, in the Bible, we see that wine that was consumed during biblical times had about 10 to 14% alcohol. And also, we see a reference in some scriptures to a strong drink, which is just a little bit over this amount of 10 to 14% alcohol. In biblical times, they did not use near as much alcohol in alcoholic beverages as we do in today's alcoholic drinks. Today, we have generally 40 to 50% of the alcoholic drink that is actually alcohol. The Bible has some warnings against alcohol. With the story of Noah, we know that he got intoxicated and lay naked and unsure of his surroundings. We also see that in the story of Lot, he became intoxicated and his comprehension was impaired during this time. We see in Proverbs 20 verse 1 where the writer suggests that it is capable of controlling us. And we also see in Proverbs 31 that we could be led astray by drinking wine. We also know that some people think that the wine that is referred to in the Bible is actually grape juice. In Proverbs 31, we see where the Bible warns against people in power drinking, but then says it may be good for those who are in poverty. That last verse leads us into biblical support for alcohol. In Deuteronomy 14, it talks about eating and drinking strong wine to rejoice in the Lord and with your household. In Psalms, it even speaks of strong drink and wine being to gladden the heart of men. In the New Testament, we see where in Matthew and several places written by Paul, it actually warns against alcohol once again, says that it can harm us and even be a stumbling block for other believers. Various Christian denominations have different viewpoints on consuming alcohol. For the most part, Methodists are against alcohol consumption. So are Southern Baptists, the majority of them at least. Presbyterians are against becoming drunk, but say that it is okay to consume a reasonable amount of alcohol as long as one does not become drunk. The conclusion of drinking alcohol on the Christianity side is that Christians should not drink alcohol if it's going to cause other Christians to stumble. Drinking alcohol in and of itself is not wrong as long as one does not become drunk. One must read scripture and decide their own convictions on the matter of drinking alcohol. Our second worldview that we are going to delve into is Islam and Islam's view on alcohol. Islam as a religion is a very strict, duty-driven religion. It is works-based, whether things that you do are good or wrong. Islam sees drinking alcohol as a sin and something that shall not be done under any circumstance. Here we see quotes from the Quran itself. The Quran states that alcohol is an abomination and a work of Satan, and if you drink it, you will not prosper. It warns against it and states it is an abomination of Satan and causes evil actions, as we see in the article quote where it talks about distracting people from good and leading people towards evil doing. The conclusion of alcohol in Islam is that most of the sources that you will find about alcohol in Islam are 100% against alcohol consumption and see it as a sin. One article I found, however, said that it is okay as long as it is not consumed in excess. For our theoretical approach, we used teleological ethics. The actions we take should result in a good or desirable end. In the case of choosing alcohol, we want to be moderate so that consuming it is good or desirable and does not consume too much so that we do not become intoxicated. So, with that in mind, should we warn against alcohol or should we support alcohol consumption?